It is showtime, or so StreamYard likes to tell me, and I'm glad that we're all here. Thank you for tuning in to another week of Self-Publishing Insiders with Drafted Digital. And this time, we're going to be talking about TikTok and Reels, and the only person who is qualified to lead us as a Sherpa on that journey is Rebecca Rainier. Welcome, Rebecca, to the show.
Thank you so much. I think there's probably a lot of qualified folks. I
Nobody else on this show, for sure.
I am the most qualified in this double frame.
Yeah. Of everyone who has showed up on screen right now, you are certainly the most qualified. So, hello. Thank you for joining us. Now, before we jump into what I might consider the scary stuff. Not really. I'm not really scared of it, but I don't know much about TikTok. I have a very special person on my team, and she knows everything, and so I let her do all the work. But before we jump into TikTok and things related, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're bringing to the table?
My pleasure. So it's a kind of important thing to get the background a little bit, because I do think my background does have something to do with why TikTok and Reels are an environment that I feel comfortable in. So I originally, I live in the Midwest. For 20 plus years, I was a television news anchor and television news reporter and television news host. So my background really is in visual storytelling, which I think is, important to point out. I'm used to using the camera to tell a story and to tell it briefly. So a lot of us that are going to be, tuning into this, tell these, 50, 60, 70,000 word tomes. With TikTok, it's a short form video. In television news, you have a minute and a half to tell a story. 9 times out of 10, that's your limit. Yeah. So I was used to those kind of things. So I did that for 20 plus years. And then kind of towards the end of my television news career, I came upon indie authorship as a possibility. I always wanted, I always kind of thought about being an author and had done some of the traditional publishing steps earlier and thought, I don't know if I can. So I started in the end of my career, started doing indie authorship, indie publishing, and did well enough so that I could say, you know what, I'm tired of getting up at 3 a.m. to go to the television news station. Yes. I like sleeping till 8 o'clock. So at any rate, I was able to transition careers. So I've been a full-time indie author from 2018 on. My main line used to be paranormal women's fiction, but recently I've done a lot with women's fiction, kind of beachy read type women's fiction. And then I have an alternative pen name, Rebecca Rain, which is R-A-N-E. And with that, I do suspense thrillers. So I have 3 suspense thrillers on that other pen name. So 2 pen names. And right now, beachy fiction is my main reason that I'm using TikTok, thing that I'm using to, get the word out about.
So weird. That's my pen name, beachy fiction.
Beachy fiction. I like it. Wouldn't that be right?
Awesome.
What's your pen name? Oh, well,
what's your pen name?
Nora Roberts is my pen name.
Nora Roberts. Yeah. Grisham. You might have heard of me.
Grisham Jones.
So that's very cool. So yeah, you and I discussed a little before the program that we have a kind of a shared background in programming in television, that sort of thing. So I'm curious now, because I haven't seen your TikTok stuff.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Poor research on my part. But do you tend to treat that like a segment?
No. So I started out with TikTok like a lot of people did in the pandemic. You know what I mean? It was totally entertainment, completely, you're bored. You don't have it. You've watched everything on Netflix. What are you going to do now, kind of thing. Yeah. So I started that way. I've never been afraid of social media. I wrote a book about Twitter in 2010. Okay. So I've never been afraid of like diving in on a social media platform and learning about it and enjoying its environment. Same with TikTok. And because of the pandemic, there was such amazing content on there. So I started an account, started watching, started enjoying, just like everybody else, dancing videos or cute puppy videos or, whatever it is that you hear about TikTok. I totally loved all that stuff. I tried to do some lip syncing at first, like my early account, you can see, and, me doing whatever the form was at the time, I was trying. But I realized kind of quickly that I am a content creator. So my other job that I've done for 20 plus years is as a humor columnist for a newspaper. And so I thought, I'm a creator. I'm creating books. I'm creating columns. I should create for this platform versus just always lip sync or try to do other stuff like that. So I made a commitment once a day. I'm going to try to post some original piece of content. And once I did that, it's kind of a classic TikTok tale. I looked at some of my old columns and I posted a video in relation to one of my old columns and put the phone down, went about my life. And like 2 hours later, I looked and there was like 500,000 views.
Wow.
Within a day, there's 1 million. Within 3 days, I'd hit 3 million. So, and that was original content, out of my own little brain. And so I thought, okay, this is the way I'm going to move forward on TikTok with things that are mine that I come up with. And I've since gone viral a couple of different times like that where this is my observation or my humorous little bit of whatever. Right. And I grew my account pretty quickly to around 30-some thousand followers. And I realized, gosh, I probably should be marketing my books here too. So I tried doing that. And I had some success with that, but then that really got me into TikTok for fiction authors. Like, how are people using it? What works? What are the avenues that I need to learn, get better at? So when I launched my latest series, which, like I said, is Beachy Fiction, I decided I'm going to go with an account that's specific to that. So I have Rebecca Rainier on TikTok, which is just basically Gen X humor. It's Gen X moms that are my followers that relate to what I'm talking about, but it's pretty much in that niche. If I put a video up in relation to those type topics, it's going to go pretty well for me. If I get out of that niche and start posting about, books that I'm writing, it doesn't do as well. So I thought I'm going to dedicate one account to my writing, specifically to my Beachy Fiction. Not even, it's not suspense writing. It's not paranormal normal women's fiction. It is Beachy Fiction that I'm writing. So that a second account I started in right when those books were coming out. I started that account this summer, and there's way fewer views. I have a viral or two in the beginning, but it's more about connecting that content with those books. So I have two accounts. One is whatever I want to do on it. And if that pops, that's great. And if you like me and you want to know more about me or think I'm funny, and that's a great platform, great. But I don't kind of restrict myself to trends. I don't restrict myself to this has to be marketing. It is literally authentically whatever comes to mind.
Yeah. You treat it as its own thing rather than
its own little lab of exactly. Right. The other account, which is probably more what we'll be talking about today, is about how do I set up an account and feed content to it that then funnels people towards my fiction. Okay. And so that's what I'm doing with that other account. And I mean, a lot of people have heard all kinds of amazing success stories with TikTok. And when you think about that, you think of someone like Colleen Hoover or Emily Henry or Sarah Moss, or, name some big authors that are really seeing the benefits of TikTok. But there are two sides to that, which is those authors had fans who made BookTok accounts, used their BookTok accounts and said, I love this book. We need to get behind it. Here's what I love about it. So that's one area of TikTok to talk about. And that's amazing. And, if that happens for you, it can be a career game-changing moment. But that's also difficult to replicate. You can't, approaching a bunch of BookTokers isn't the best business plan. So you want to find out how can you do the other side of that is if I have a TikTok as an author, how do I promote my work? How do I build a community around what I'm doing? So that is the other more controllable, more definable thing. If a BookToker never does anything about my book, bummer, but I'm still on there doing things to promote my work and to share, whatever I've got going on in the author world. So that part is what takes a lot more energy and more study and more what's happening, what's working. Right. And that, so that part is where I focus most of my attention and my intentional content.
When you did the post about that related to your column, like what was the story there? So you said you're writing humor. So I'm imagining it was just sort of a funny nod to it or something.
So what it was is when parents this is basically to all children, whether they're adults or teens, but when your parents text you, what they're really asking is, are you alive?
Yeah.
It's not, what do you want for dinner? It's not, did you have a nice day? Every text we send to our kids is, are you alive?
Yeah. That's why I always respond with ransom demands.
Well, and also you only have like 0.4 seconds to respond. As a teen, if your parents text you, you have like half a second to respond, or we've gone off the deep end.
Yeah.
So basically that was the TikTok. That was the gist of the column. And that was the gist of the TikTok. And it went viral because it speaks to so many, every single person. Yes. Yes. And then people sharing it with their kids, meaning if I'm texting you, this is what I want to know. So it was very super relatable to a wide variety of parents and kids. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's what originally went viral for me.
So did you relate that when you say you related it back to the article, like did that increase traffic to that article or anything?
So what it did is increase my following. And with TikTok, after you have like 1,000 followers, you can put a clickable link in your bio. So for me, I have a clickable link that would at one point my latest column. So whatever I'm talking about, latest column, go in the clickable link and you can go read the column. When it comes to books, it's obviously your latest book, or if you have a pre-order or whatever, you make your link tree really simple, but really directed towards whatever it is you want those viewers to do. So for me, that viral video, and again, it was a surprise. You don't plan for I'm going to have a viral video tomorrow. Yeah. It doesn't work like that.
I was thinking I would knock one out after this call, actually. So
no problem. So yeah, it is like and it is almost like having your door open. It's like having your car door open on the freeway, because it is like, I mean, it's the little bit overwhelming, and you have all of a sudden then put something out there that other people are going to weigh in on. You know what I mean? So you have to, it's unsettling. I'd had a viral on Facebook about Blue's Clues almost the week before. And I'm talking millions of views on Facebook about Blue's Clues.
Yeah.
So, but it took me, even after being in television for 20 years, when you're on TV, if people are yelling at you from the other, from their family room, you don't know.
Right. That's true.
When you do a viral,
supposedly, unless it's your family.
Right. Unless it's my mother. You look terrible. Yeah. What's wrong with your hair? So no, the viral video, you're seeing the comments.
Yeah.
So you do have to learn, how do I want to respond? Do I want to respond? How do I want to feel about other people's reaction to this thing I did? So there is a little bit of, you need to, buck up and decide how will I move forward if I have a viral? How will I feel if I have a viral? But yeah, so those are the two levels though. One viral TikTok would be, as a book writer, you have fans that make something that goes viral and you reap the benefits of them coming to your book. The flip side is we as authors are always trying to figure out how to market our books.
Yeah.
So with that, a lot of people are having success. It's one of these things. I have authors ask me, do I have to be on TikTok? Like, it's like, do I have to get that, checkup or something?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like an obligation to some.
Yeah.
And to those, I say, don't do it then. You know what I mean? Like, there are plenty of ways to market your book. If TikTok seems like an anathema, I do not want to do this, then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But I will say it is, at this point, it's a lot more open than other social medias in terms of I'm not doing advertisements on TikTok. I am creating TikToks that either are hitting my audience or they're not. But I'm not paying. What I'm paying is time. I mean, that's another thing. Before you get in there, you have to understand that it does take time to create content for TikTok. And it is for sure addictive. It is for sure like, I'm into it. And then, you start thinking in terms of TikTok, like, this would be a good TikTok. I mean, so it does worm into your brain.
Yeah.
But if you are looking for a way to market your books without spending a bunch of cash, it's really it's something to explore.
But you did hit the nail on the head though, and this is I've talked to a lot of authors about that before. Is that you're going to pay something? You're going to pay money, or you're going to pay time, and sometimes the money is preferable just because you can't get the time back. Right. But when it comes to a platform like this, like if you have no overhead and you've got the time to do it, that sounds like it would work really great.
Well, and I like it. So I a lot of us will get on social media platforms for our book marketing and then abandon them. Like, how many times did you forget to put your latest post in your Facebook group or your Facebook page, or you didn't tweet it, or you didn't, I started this thing and then I'm not doing it. So for me, it's something I enjoy doing. So it's not so much a challenge to find something to post every day. So consistency is key with TikTok. Not that you can't go away and come back, but to build, to have success, you're going to want to be posting consistently. I recommend to people that there are ways to do it that people are starting to learn are good and bad, or best practices and not best practices. So if you're starting on TikTok and you've never done it before, you almost want to have 2 accounts, because like my Rebecca Rainier account as me, I can look at whatever I want. I don't care what the algorithm does. I don't care. I'm enjoying the environment. The other TikTok, Rebecca Rainier Books, it's a very creative name. That TikTok, I was really specific. And I think that if you want to market your books on TikTok or build a community on TikTok, you have to be specific. So what a lot of authors do is almost prime the account. So it's Jane Smith Books. You go on TikTok and you start. When you go on TikTok at first, you'll see everything. You'll see the dancing videos. You'll see the cute dogs. You'll see, whatever is trending at that moment. But if you're doing something to stay in book talk or author talk, what you need to do is scroll past all of those really entertaining videos that you think are, viral. What you're trying to do is find author and book content. So you can search for hashtags or authors you're interested in or book talkers you're into. So then anytime a book type video comes up on your feed, that's the one you stop and watch the whole thing with. That's the one you like. That's the one you comment on. And it almost takes a couple of days of being on TikTok before you start seeing the feed that you want to see. So once you go on there and start seeing, okay, I'm seeing bookshelves, I'm seeing authors talking, I'm seeing page flip videos, I'm seeing aesthetics of a book type video, then okay, this algorithm for this account understands that I'm talking about books or interested in hearing about books. If you don't do that, you will be in, general population TikTok, and you're going to see everything in the world, which again, I totally love on my other account.
So much twerking.
So much.
What should people be aiming for? Like, I know there are limits, and I'm ignorant of those limits, but like time wise, how long are each of these videos?
So TikToks are very short. I mean, you can do a long TikTok, but for the most part, authors having success with TikTok marketing their books or sharing their books are doing short video. They're doing even a 7-second, 15-second, 30-second videos. They're short. I wrote these down so I don't forget it, but there are also kind of forms of videos that you're seeing. You're seeing page flips. So I'm sure if you've ever gone on there, that's where they're just flipping the pages, and then you're seeing just a little snippet of the book, a little teaser of the book, or maybe even a scene or an exchange between 2 characters. That's one type of video that some people love and some people hate, but it has been successful for authors in getting people interested in their book and then going over to those buy links and finding out, what book did this come from? There are aesthetic videos, which just give you, okay, your book is set in a small town in the fall and it's a cozy mystery. And so you get to see, this is what I feel like when I'm watching this TikTok, and maybe that is the book for me. There are point of view videos, and this is one I've done. You could do it where you're the character of your book. I tried that once, but it didn't feel natural for me. Some authors do an amazing job at that. They're on camera. They're not even talking. They just have kind of the scene coming, scrolling on their face, and they react to the scene. And I felt like, because I'm a columnist and my face is out there to do other things, it felt like, wait a minute, is she Rebecca Rainier or is she now this kid? For me, it didn't feel natural. So guess what? I don't do it, which is totally what you should do as an author. If it doesn't feel like your jam, move on. It's totally fine. And then other authors, and this is what I do the most of in my book talk account, is I have, since these are beach kind of books, I have really great video that I got myself at the lake, on the boat, on the beach. Like anytime I thought this looks like my book, I shot tons and tons of videos. I have my friends, hey, if you're by the water, just send me the videos. And so then
the old B-roll trick. That's basically
B-roll trick.
Yeah.
It's 100% that. And so I'll give you a beautiful scene, and then I will, sometimes it's in the voice of my character. My husband left me. I am out of a job. I went back to my hometown by the lake or whatever. So it's a first person kind of thing.
Yeah.
Those have been the most successful for me. But again, you can do what you want to do. And these things change. Like page flip videos are super popular right now, but people do get sick of certain things. So you want to kind of be attuned. Like I don't just post the video. I spend at least about, I want to say 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day on that account, looking to see what's out there, what's happening, what are other authors doing, what's going viral. Yeah. I explore hashtags and see what kind of hashtags are people using for the books that I'm writing or the kind of books I'm writing. So there's some research before I jump in and put up my TikTok.
How much time would you say in general you spend each day producing and posting the content?
I would say now I'm at about an hour a day. Okay. I try to put up, so a couple of months ago, everyone complains about algorithms all the time. We always are talking about, everybody's algorithms out to get us or whatever.
Yes.
And how do I figure it out? And TikTok is no different. It is an algorithm. And so, 3 or 4 weeks ago, everyone was saying, oh, my views have gone to, plummeted. I was getting this amount. Now I'm getting this amount. And there does seem to be changes. There are days or weeks or months that wait, what was that? Yeah. So I had that experience too, 3-4 weeks ago, and kind of the conventional, like, I think you need to be involved with other book TikTokers to really get the most out of it. So I'm in a group called TikTok for Authors on Facebook, and I could see, other people are experiencing this. So it's really helpful to know, okay, what's working to move the needle for these authors? Could it work for me?
Yeah.
And I want to put a big plug in for Lila Dubois and Jane Ryland. They actually have a course called TikTok Sells Books. I mean, it's straight up, that's what they teach.
Okay.
So I did not take their course, but I have interacted with them many times, and they are super informative also. And they work on mostly fiction. How do we sell books with our TikTok? So at any rate, those different groups and associations, when I was experiencing a lull, I could go in there and we're all saying, yeah, my views are down. What's working for you? And how do we get out of this? And in that case, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, whenever this was happening, it was a matter of, okay, you've got to post 3 times a day. They got to be short. They got to be really hooky. You know what I mean? Like, don't quit. Keep plugging. And it's, even if you're not a big fan of TikTok, I have to say what it has given me is the ability to better synopsize my books, better zone into, oh, wait a minute, that's what the hook is of this scene. Better figure out, wait a minute, there isn't any stakes. There aren't any stakes to this particular part of my book. No wonder no one's going to watch this TikTok, because who cares?
Right.
So it does force you in a super short amount of time to say, oh, this scene here, this scene is good. This is what is going to pull someone into the rest of the story. So TikTok kind of helps you with that.
That's an interesting concept. Yeah. using TikTok to help sharpen your storytelling skills that's an interesting concept. Yeah.
It's absolutely good. It helps with your blurbing. Like in my Amazon blurb, this TikTok got 100,000 views. And yet when I look at my Amazon blurb, it has nothing to do with this. I mean, it's in the story. It's in the book if you buy it, and it's on page 45 or whatever. But the blurb doesn't mention this component. So it really helps you align.
I kind of like that as a kind of research tool. I mean,
absolutely. And you can A/B test on TikTok just like you can with anything else. Like, okay, same video, same song, but I'm going to use this phrase or this phrase. Which thing is pulling people or getting the reaction that I want to have? So it's super easy to A/B test.
Do you do a lot of TikTok?
No.
That's one of those things that every author says, what would be really good is we A/B test.
Here's what we should do.
Yeah. So
someone else should do that. No, I do know people that do that. Here's what I do. If I find that a video has done well, I will take it apart. I will say, okay, what components did do well about this video? What hashtags did I use? What sound? Was it trending sound, or was it something that speaks more to someone's generation? So the ones that are viral, it's very much, I don't A/B test, but I do pick it apart.
So we should come up with a term for that. That should be like AZ testing.
Right.
Like you're testing, now you're testing to see why it did okay. So you're going with the final result. So it's AZ, if you're Canadian.
It's like what, yes, A to Z. What components resonate of this particular TikTok.
Yeah.
And so, and you can't always solve it, but another successful thing that authors do on TikTok is when they do have a viral, they ride that wave for a good long time. Okay, everyone's interested in it. I know I have 15 books out, but this particular book is the one that is popping on TikTok. So let's make sure that we stay with this book, that we, use that knowledge that, okay, the book talk world likes this. How can I, keep doing the videos until, oh, okay, now we're not seeing as much interest anymore. Yeah. So if it works, keep working it.
So what is the principal difference between TikTok and YouTube Reels?
So YouTube calls them shorts. It's Instagram Reels.
It's Instagram Reels. I'm sorry.
Instagram Reels.
See, my social media manager is going to jump my case over that. So.
Well, it's hard. So the most interesting thing that I think to know is that because of TikTok, all of these social media platforms have a similar type deal.
Yeah.
So Instagram.
That's why I get them all confused, because they're all.
It's valid.
So let's drop YouTube. And what makes it different from an Instagram Reel?
They
Real
are
talk now.
Real talk. They're the same. No.
That's how, okay.
I mean, in that they're short form videos. They're you're using hashtags. They're a little bit delayed in that you'll see a trend on TikTok and then you'll see, oh, wait, that sound that was trending there is now trending here. So they haven't quite caught up to, usually the trend is usually going to start on TikTok if it's a short form video, and then you'll start seeing it ported over to Instagram Reels. I will say, when a lot of the authors were experiencing maybe lower views, I and others started putting those Reels up on our Instagram accounts more consistently. And I was seeing a ton, same video, same sound, same words, same hashtags, one on TikTok that would be like nothing.
Yep.
And then on Instagram Reels, I'd see 6,000 or 7,000 views.
Wow.
So now the difference with the Instagram Reels also is they don't seem to last very long. You'll have a nice amount of views on Instagram Reels, and then day 2, that's it. It's over. It's done. With TikTok, it is. I can see something that I posted several months ago start getting new views, new comments. So it isn't necessarily tied to the most recent post, which is kind of nice. Some people on TikTok will remove their non-performing videos, and I just never have. I've always thought, look, here it is, warts and all. This one flopped. This one did well. So I keep them up there because there are times where I just, like I said, a year ago, I promoted one of my paranormal women's fiction books that I'm not promoting as actively right now. And sure enough, I got comments yesterday. Oh my gosh, this looks so interesting. So, and I'm going to buy your book right now. I'm like, okay, see, I didn't take it down, and it's out there for people to consume. And so it's another thing to keep in mind with TikTok is it's a cold audience most of the time. So this is why that's good. We talk about, on YouTube, I want all these subscribers, or I want all these people following me on Facebook, or blah, 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 all the places. With TikTok, you don't have to have millions of subscribers or followers to reach millions of people.
Right.
If it resonates with a small core group, it'll get pushed out to bigger groups, regardless of how many people are following you. So you don't have to chase subscribers in a way. And that, I think, is a little bit, freeing to some degree. Yeah,
that is, because it's that chasing subscribers that starts to make you feel like you're a failure. That's
right.
What I've
so
noticed.
You don't have to do that. And I will, and I want to be perfectly frank too with people. There is success when it comes to TikTok where people are like, and I feel like you have to decide what is your metric for success.
Right.
In my opinion, I was able to start seeing that I'm getting 5 or 6 people clicking on my links in my profile.
Mhm.
They're not always converting, but I'm getting 5 or 6 people with every day's worth of posts. Like, okay, this is fresh. This is people new to me people. And so I wouldn't say I've had a viral, but it definitely had a better launch than I've ever had once I combined TikTok and Amazon ads and all the things
Mhm.
that we all have to do. On the flip side, there's some people that are just working to use TikTok to promote their books, and they're not seeing that conversion as much. So it's not a magic pill. And so if it's something that you find adverse and I'm not interested, then it's not like, oh, well, now my author career is in the tubes. I'll never, it's not like that. For me, I look at it as that. I mean, they used to say 7 touches for advertising before someone would buy. I think now it's like 1 billion. It's way more. But I do see it as, okay, maybe they saw me on TikTok. Maybe they saw a reel of mine. Maybe they saw a short or a Pinterest or my Amazon ad or you know what I mean? Like, so I just look at it as that.
Yeah. It's more points of contact. Yeah. I was going to ask too, because I mean, is there a reason why you would pull videos from TikTok or Instagram beyond I think
the reason people do it is, when you put, when I work really hard on something and I put it out on social media and it's crickets, it's like, well, that's embarrassing. I thought this was really funny, or I thought it was really clever. And then it's like, nothing. Hello, is this thing on?
Yeah.
So it's embarrassing. I mean, and so I think for me, it's more like, well, that failed. But Elise Meyer, I don't know if you're not on TikTok, you might not know who Elise Myers is, but she's a huge creator on TikTok, and she doesn't dance, or you know what I mean. She basically tells hilarious stories. That's her main thing, is connecting you with hilarious stories from her life. And she's like, it helps other creators to see our failures. If I don't have 1 million views, I'm not taking it down. I'm going to let you see that this thing was an attempt. It was it's valid in its own way. Just because 1 million people didn't watch it doesn't mean that it's still not something to have up there. So, but I think people, want to be perceived as knocking it out of the park every single time. Maybe I don't know. I don't.
I mean, if that's the brand you're trying to cultivate, I can understand it.
Right. I'm a rock star at all times.
But it's like those people. I've never understood this mentality, like the authors who put their books out wide, and they don't sell well on, say, Kobo, and so they pull the book off Kobo. It's not selling on Kobo. You know what's not going to happen? It's not going to start selling on Kobo if it's not on Kobo.
Right.
So it's the same thing to me. Like, why would you take it off of Reels or maybe it's different? I mean, I don't know if, sometimes I learned that things like if it doesn't do well, it can hurt your ranking or something, so I don't know.
Well, for me, I will say I have been curating in the not Rebecca Rainier, but in Rebecca Rainier books, I have curated really specifically in terms of who follows me. If it seems like it's just someone interested in dating me, which I had to put at one point, I'm a happily married 53-year-old woman. Please stop messaging me. Because when you're in the little bit of a romance sort of area, it can be, if your TikTok gets thrown out there to someone who thinks this is real, this woman is out there single and she's having a hard time, I'm going to save her. You're like, no. This is a book. This is a book. So I did have an influx at one point of people that were misinterpreting my TikToks. And so I had to curate those people out. Like, okay, this is clearly not a typical women's fiction reader. So I tried to make sure that the people that are following me are people that are interested in my content or in my book specifically. I also, so I'm just really careful. At one point, I was trying to answer comments. No, this is a book. This is a book. My husband did not ruin our lives by gambling and send me to prison. You know what I mean? Like I had the book points in this one thing, and I'm answering all these comments. And then I realized, you know what? They're not getting it. This is not right. So I have turned off comments at different points. I had a super popular one that was clearly in the stream of not book talk, but okay, these are a bunch of people that are looking for love. I didn't get rid of it. I just put it to friends only. So people who are following me because they know I'm an author, and that seems to calm it down. So there are you can go left and right with TikTok in a way that was like, oh, I've learned something.
Yes. Sometimes you just want to embrace your weird brethren and let them, get their freak on in the comments. So,
right.
Speaking of, for those of you watching, you can get your freak on in the comments and leave us a question, and we will answer that question or give it a shot anyway. And if we don't answer it, there are folks hanging around down there that will. But we actually do have some comments I've been starring as we go here.
Awesome.
So a couple of questions. So this one comes to us from YouTube. Sorry, my eyes failed me there. Hello, guys. Is TikTok good also for nonfiction books? Do you have any experience about that? Thank you.
Well, yes. So my experience as a columnist is really where I'm gonna go back to. So there are a couple of people that are doing book deals because humor book deals. There, I think also diet and fitness guru types that are really using TikTok to expand their brand and their platforms. TikTok is just about a platform, and it's about storytelling. So if you have a story to tell about your your nonfiction also has to tell a story and solve a problem, specifically if you're nonfiction. So absolutely, whatever your area is in nonfiction, you're going to want to use TikTok to talk about this problem you're solving with your nonfiction or memoir or whatever, your nonfiction is involved in. But yeah, absolutely, it works for nonfiction. It might even work better because you don't have to make that leap of, I am not the person, I'm not the character, I'm the author.
True. And you don't necessarily have to be overwhelmingly entertaining, I suppose.
Right. Well,
gotta help.
Right. It helps, but honesty is what people relate to. I have heard it said, and I think it's true, on Instagram, everything's super, it got to be a point where you had to look perfect and you had to curate every picture and you had to look like your life was just so glossy and wonderful. And people,
it's all about the grid.
It's all, Whereas on TikTok, the more real you are, the more messed up, the more like, oh, wow, that is definitely laundry behind her right now. Whatever it is.
Yes.
People on TikTok can sniff out false, presentation better than anyone I've ever known. So you really being real about it is what TikTok's all about versus on Instagram. It felt like, oh, well, if I'm not a 20-year-old influencer with gorgeous hair and skin and, 100 pounds or whatever, then this isn't for me. Yeah. Whereas TikTok's, the more messy, the better.
Yeah. Well, I fit the description you just gave, so I am TikTok worthy. Speaking of TikTok and cringy things I've said, Lexi says that I may have cringed when you said YouTube Reels.
See, you knew.
So yeah, there you go.
And I do upload my stuff to YouTube also. But you want to be careful on music, sounds, watermarks, all that kind of stuff. It's not interchangeable. You need to do a couple of things to make sure that you're not just taking one to the other, which I do spend some time doing.
Yeah. I could see the challenge there, being from media. Alyssa asks, how do hashtags fare between platforms? Can we use the same between TikTok and Instagram and others?
It depends. Like if you're on Instagram, it's going to be Bookstagram, almost Tagram on everything. And TikTok definitely is talk. It's book talk. But things like hashtag women's fiction, hashtag women fiction reader, Beachy reads, am reading, book talk challenge. So depending on what you're doing, hashtags work very similarly, but there are Instagram ones versus TikTok. So they work the same, but you just have to do a little research. And that it just requires start searching around for them and see. And
there are tools out there for some of these platforms to help you find what's trending or
absolutely
or whatever. Okay, so Matthew asked a question, and I want to put it up here just in case I'm wrong about what I think he's gotten wrong. Okay. So he asked, what is B2 fiction? Now, I think he's hearing you say beachy fiction, but just in case you did say B2 fiction somewhere along the way, I wanted to give you a chance to answer the question.
It's the sequel to the B1 fiction.
It's the B1 fiction came along. It did so well
that they did it again.
That Spielberg said, we're going to do a second one. So it is, I think he's hearing you say beachy.
Beachy fiction, like a fiction. Books you read on the beach, books set at the beach, summer reads, those kind of things.
But B2 fiction would be fiction that you could find through books2read.com. If you hop over there, we like to put 2 in everything because we like the author to be number 1. So nice. Here is, I'm a marketing guy.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Here's a final question from YouTube. So, do you have any recommendations about using TikTok for nonfiction books? This is a follow up to the previous question.
Well, my recommendation is to definitely do some research before you make your account, start searching around whatever your area of nonfiction is. Start looking. Is it a self-help you're doing? You start seeing what's out there. We don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. What we can see is, okay, this is working for an author who's talking about, midlife second chances, or this is an author that's talking about diabetes, or whatever it is. You need to take a look and see in your genre or in your area what's working out there. If you're giving advice, find out who's out there. There's a woman right now who I can guarantee she's going to have a book in about a hot second. She's a crisis communicator. She does PR and marketing for people who have who found themselves in the crosshairs of bad publicity for whatever reason. And she'll talk about whatever's in the news, but then she'll also talk about how she advises crisis communication. I'm going to tell you, she's fascinating, and she's going to wind up with a book or a business speaking tour regarding.
And if she's listening, when she's done with that book, she can publish it through Draft Digital.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That has nothing to do with.
But that's a great topic, though.
There's a woman who's an advocate she's in Texas, and she's an advocate for against child trafficking. And so she uses her TikTok to explain what's happening in her area, to talk about court cases, to talk about legislation. This is not dancing and singing and looking at cute kitties.
That's heavy stuff.
Serious stuff. There's a guy that explains all about the music that we're listening to. What is an interpolation? What's a sample? He's like an expert in music. And so he'll take a cut from whatever's on the radio and say, actually, here's the interpolation from this, which is actually a cut from this. I mean, it does not have to be. We're in book talk world, but almost any subject that you can talk about is on TikTok. And because of that, billions of people now on TikTok, it's like 1.3 billion people on TikTok. You'll hear people say, oh, it's really good for romance or urban fantasy or these specific genres. But that's just because it's new-ish. There are so many people with such varied interests that we're going to all find other people who want our content. Like it is a little harder to do my suspense thriller marketing on TikTok, or it's harder to find that community, but I'm slowly finding it. You just carve it out over time.
I say that about books a lot. There's an audience for just about any book. And the advantage I think social media has that I kind of wish books had is you can search by hashtag for content on social media.
Right.
So you can actually there's nothing like that on fiction. You can do that in nonfiction. Nonfiction is you're searching for a topic and here it is. But fiction's a little harder. It's like, how do you find, I want something like, Stephen King's last book. And how do you search for that? And
you can't, and I'm starting to see more horror novel. Like at first it felt like it was all spicy romance. Like, oh, my books aren't really spicy. And like, well, I fit in here. And I started to see more and more horror authors out there, and thriller authors, and suspense. So it's cozy mystery authors. There's starting to be, because there are so many people out there, it's starting to kind of congeal around these different communities, and you can start to see, oh, okay. And, sometimes every once in a while, you don't even put a hashtag out there and say, if you're seeing this, I write cozy mystery, drop a like in there. And, TikTok will figure you out.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, there it is.
All
but I'm an older person. I'm not a 20-year-old. So there's hashtags that help me find my Gen X romance or Gen X book talk or midlife talk so over 40 talk. There are ways to find people that are in your generation too. Like I might not be funny to someone who's 21 years old, but a 50-year-old woman who's having a hot flash, she thinks I'm hilarious.
I am hilarious to all those people. Lexi asks, do you feel like platforms like TikTok have made it more accessible for authors and people in general to build their own independent platform without a big business behind them?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, you have back in my media days, I would explain to reporters and anchors and managers that everybody can broadcast now.
Yeah.
Everybody is a broadcaster. Now, there's certain responsibilities. I take those responsibilities really seriously. I'm a broadcaster, even if it's on TikTok and not on 13 ABC in Toledo, Ohio.
Right.
I'm broadcasting. But because we have social media now, we can all be broadcasters. Whether or not people come to our message and come to watch our content or enjoy our stories, that's a different story. But if you're someone that is working to connect with your content, you have so many options. When I first did a live shot in 1990, whatever, let's not say, it was me, a photographer, an engineer, a gigantic radio tower.
Yeah.
There was people back at the station. I have earpiece in. I mean, doing a live shot 25, 30 years ago versus today, all you need now for your live shot is this phone.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely. There's definitely been some massive shifts.
Just a couple of changes. Yeah.
Just a couple. But yeah, I always say you can be a broadcaster. And that's important for broadcasters to know too. You're not the only game in the 6 o'clock news isn't the only game in town anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. It has taken it's taken a huge turn. And if you want to have a message out there, you don't necessarily have to go the traditional way. I mean, indie publishing is also that. We now have so many options to tell our stories that it's mind blowing. When I was first trying to get published in, 15 years ago, this was not, I mean, you could do it, but it was so many barriers to entry. Right. Now, especially through Draft to Digital, I tell people all the time, you have a book in you and you want to get it out there, you do not have to be a tech wizard. So yeah, I think the game has changed so.
And there are a lot of people who are coming along to make every aspect of it so much easier. Absolutely. I mean, it's just all so much easier.
And if you're looking for book talkers, there are services that can help you connect to book talkers. If you're not doing it yourself and want someone to connect you with book talkers, you're gonna start seeing that more and more too. Yeah, like I don't want a TikTok, but I want a book talker. So there'll be more and more and more of those kind of things out there.
Yep. It's all growing. Especially, and by the way, I have to run this. So you're familiar with having to run a spot to support the show. So you hang out for just 30 seconds. Okay. And we'll be right back. So everyone else, you watch this and be hypnotized. Ebooks are great, but there's just something about having your words in print. Something you can hold in your hands, put on a shelf, sign for a reader. That's why we created D2D Print, a print-on-demand service that was built for you. We have free, beautiful templates to give your book a pro look, and we can even convert your ebook cover into a full wraparound cover for print. So many options for you and your books. And you can get started right now when you sign up at draftedigital.com/printbeta. That guy has such a great voice.
I want 2 of those.
That would be like the world's worst TikTok video right there. But that said, make sure you do check out D2D Print. And for now, we have come to the sad conclusion of our program, Rebecca, but I'm so glad that you were a part of the show. Thank you so much for guiding us through the TikTok and Instagram reel landscape and a little bit of the YouTube shorts, a little tiny bit.
And like I said, if you're looking for a course, I don't sell any courses or anything like that, but TikTok sells books is a course that I would look at if you're certainly a fiction writer and want to
TikTok sells books. Okay.
Yeah, they're really great. They're really, really great.
Can they find that if they come looking for you and say hello at your website?
No, I just like those guys.
Okay. Well,
I'm just saying if they come to me, I'm not selling a course or anything. You can watch my TikToks and see if you can learn anything on like how it works. But me, I sell books.
Okay. Well, and for everyone watching, let's help her out by purchasing those books and go find her at RebeccaRaniere.com. I'm going to spell it for the people listening. Sorry, Rebecca. We spell here, but RebeccaRegnIer.com. Just play it back slowly and you'll get it. And of course, you could probably find a link to that if you go over to draftdigital.com and check out the blog. But make sure you bookmark d2dlive.com where you'll find programs like this and others and things counting down every single week. And we have recently, we put up a whole, what do we call this now? It's a... sorry to stumble through this, but I've lost the link is what's happened. We've put up this whole thing called D2D Essentials. If you go to d2dtips.tips/essentials, you'll find a whole bunch of articles about all the 101 of your author life. So that's it. That's the end of the promotional stuff. Rebecca, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thanks for having me. It was very, very fun.
Absolutely. And everybody else, thank you for tuning in. Tune in next time, and we'll see you next week.